What's up, guys? My name is Witty, and we are back on Palworld today to talk about something that has been covered in other videos, but I haven't seen one that is particularly efficient and easy to follow, so to speak. We're actually going to be talking about, as the title says, the best place to build an ore and coal multifunctional mining base, and we're actually going to include production in that because we can. Why not? And it's going to kind of be a step-by-step process. Now, the place we're going to on the map is around 190 minus 40, as you can see in the bottom left here, on top of a gigantic mountain. And this is what we're going to find. You're going to notice there's somewhere around 8 or 9 of each coal and ore in this area. All of the ore is typically on this side, and all of the coal is typically on this side. It's a very good spot for both. So, obviously, this is a really bad place to build because, I mean, look at the terrain. And since this is focused more towards beginners, we're going to keep this kind of minimalistic. At this point, we don't really need to do anything crazy. So we're going to simply take a couple of foundation pieces and we're going to place them in a 2x2 grid, which is going to look something like this. I would personally recommend building a little bit down from the actual peak of this hill in the center, just because this makes it really hard for your stairs to be accessible. And we're going to place stairs on every side that we possibly can. If there's something like rocks in your way, you're going to have to adjust your foundation pieces just a little bit, but that's also not too bad of an issue. As long as your stairs are going into the ground and are all easily accessible by you, they should be easily accessible by your pals as well. This is also where we're going to build our pal box. Now keep in mind that the bigger side of this hitbox is where your pals will refresh and where they will come out when you first place them in the pal box. Because of that, we're actually going to put ours somewhere on this side here. Now my pal box does not seem to want to place. We will aim right there, we go. And it is very important to make sure that your pal box is not sticking in the ground like this, because if it is, there is a chance that when you teleport in, or when you send pals into your base, or they get refreshed, that they will fall through the ground, and you never want that to happen. So again, very important that your pal box is level with the foundation. We'll go ahead and place ours. Let me go ahead and just center myself over here, get a better idea of what this is going to look like. We will place ours just like this, so that our pals, when placed in the pal box, will land right here. Now, the next most important thing, in my opinion, is to have a chest beside your pal box. And this is because, obviously, when you're moving around a lot of things, you want to have access to a chest very close so you can teleport in, grab stuff, and teleport out in just a couple motions. Obviously, next up, something that's very required, is going to be a feed box. We're going to place that down, and as long as your food provides sanity in any capacity, that should be enough to sustain these guys, because all they're going to be doing is mining, taking breaks, and sleeping. They will not be doing anything else, and because of that, their sanity is only draining while they are mining, and you'll be golden, trust me. As I said, this is more of a beginner build, so we aren't going to be building an assembly line or an electric furnace or anything like that. We're going to be making this a lot more simple for beginner's sake. And because of that, this is where you could stop this base. As far as a mining base, this is all you need other than beds. And while we're on the topic of beds, I would strongly recommend using the fluffy pal beds. The straw pal beds, however, will work just fine. For the sake of this, though, I am going to be using these fluffy ones, and you can just place them willy-nilly anywhere. As long as they're not on the border like this and too close, the pals will not fall off the side. Everything will be good to go. And if we cover up a coal ore here, it's not that big of a deal because I'm going to level with you. I have 30,000 extra coal right now and way less ore. So eventually you won't end up needing all of the coal anyways, because not all of the ingots require coal to begin with. I don't know how many beds that is. It looks to be right in the realm of 17 or so. So we'll go ahead and build just a couple more. So we have the maximum amount for my world, which is 20. I don't intend on using 20 pals here, but just in case, have this guy start working on all those. So while we come over here and talk about what we're going to be building on this side, which is going to be where our furnace and all of that fun stuff goes if we decide that we want to farm, nails or have our production here. Now, I would recommend doing something similar and having just a wooden platform that is, I don't know, call it 4x2. And this is essentially where all of the production is going to go down. Now, I would recommend, of course, having stairs on the front side if you can manage it. And we don't really need to have walls, but I am personally going to put walls on at least the back end, just in case any pals wander their way over here. I don't want them falling off the side. Now, production-wise, just the improved furnace is going to be plenty for us because this is focused more towards beginners. In a perfect world, if you're min-maxing this and you're going for efficiency, you would want an electric furnace and a production assembly line too. But for the sake of this video, we're only going to use an improved furnace, and we're actually going to use either a high-quality workbench or the production assembly line 1, which is more likely what we'll do. So the improved furnace, it is worth noting that if you can tell on this blueprint here, the side with the smaller hole, which is on the left right now, is the side that your pals will actually work on. And it is very important because you want that side facing outwards. We will build it just like this, and this is the side you're looking for to be facing outwards. That's where your pals will be working from. And then we are going to move on to the production assembly line 1, which can conveniently fit right beside it. It is a little crooked, but it is what it is. We're not worried about it. This is essentially all we need for this base. If you really wanted to go in depth with this, you could go as far as adding a hot spring. If you're having any sanity issues, one of them will fit right over here just beside the building. This, and it is something to consider. I've never personally had sanity issues with mining bases as long as they're just mining, and so I haven't felt the need to add one, but it is definitely something you can do. Now that the basic part of the building is done, we can go ahead and talk about the pals that I would recommend being in this type of base. Now, obviously, Anubis is not the best miner. However, I recommend him for his size specifically because even though the pathing is bad for all the pals in this game, Anubis will almost never get caught. And it is at this point that I feel the need to mention, and potentially ruin some days, that work speed does not actually affect the amount of time that it takes for any mining pal to mine ore or coal. The only thing that work speed is going to affect is actions that have a progress bar, such as the stone pit. It will not change the speed that Anubis or Astagon or anyone else mines ores, coals, sulfur, quartz, doesn't matter. It will not change the speed that happens. Because of that, the best thing to actually focus on for an Anubis in your base that is going to be mining ore or coal or any of the other stuff is things that are going to maintain a high sanity and a high hunger amount. You do not want them eating often, so Diet Lover is good. You do not want their sanity to drop, so Workaholic is good for that purpose. But it's really not important to focus on work speed for these guys. Now, for handiwork, it absolutely is. If they're going to be helping you on the production line, it'd be great to have that, but otherwise it is not worth focusing on. You should really be focusing on movement speed and hunger and sanity related passives. Let's go ahead and jump into what you can see on the screen, which is what I would recommend you run the base with. I have always ran mine with Anubis just because of his hitbox. He never gets stuck, and I can rely on him for that. I do have a few Astagons in the base as well, which are actually better if you have enough of them. But, like I said, personally, I have always used Anubis just because I had a ton of them on hand when I made the base the first time, and because they've been old reliable for me. As far as transporting goes, I use Hell Zephyr personally. I do recommend you use them as well. Phalaris is a good alternative, especially for a hybrid base like this where we'll also be doing production because it is obviously a kindling pal. Phalaris is also unfortunately one of the biggest transporting pals, so he will get caught on some things. There are obviously alternatives, but I would personally recommend, if you have them, to use as many Hell Zephyrs as possible, because they will be by far the best bird in my opinion, as they can work through the night since they are a dark type, and once the Anubis have gone to bed, there is obviously still stuff on the ground potentially, so the Hell Zephyrs will continue transporting to your chests in that case. And now that we've gotten through that, which was basically a text wall in, vocal form, that's pretty much it. I don't want to hear any memes about how all of my pals are depressed and weakened right now. I promise you, I take care of them normally, but prior to recording this video, I destroyed their feed box because I had planned on recording it earlier. I forgot to replace their feed box, and they were still running around mining and stuff. So by the time I came back to actually record, yeah, everybody was not having a good time. So it happens. I've got the meds for it, just got to fix them up. Hopefully this video was able to help you guys out. And this is by far the best mining base in the entire game as far as ore and coal goes. I know a lot of people know about it already, but I've been asked quite a few questions about it. So I figured I'd make a little video that was easy to follow and hopefully help you guys out. Appreciate you guys for watching as always, and I appreciate all the support as of late. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Peace.